Right, it's Thursday the 27th of February 2025. I've just arrived in Cardiff and I'm going to spend the next few weeks walking along the Cambrian Way. So this is Cardiff Castle and this is the official start of the Cambrian Way. There's a park close to the castle with a plaque which marks the official start, so I'm just going over there now. So the Cambrian Way it's approximately a 300-mile hike across Wales, and it starts in Cardiff on the south coast and it finishes in Conwy on the north coast. And I did the walk last year. Well, I did most of it, but for one reason or another I did a couple of shortcuts. So this year I'm hoping to do it in its entirety. So this is the plaque which marks the start of the walk, or of course the finish if you're doing a north to south walk. Today I'm just booking into a hotel, and then tomorrow morning I'll be leaving quite early, about 7 o'clock, and I'll be heading to my first landmark, which is a small 19th century castle called Castle Coch. Day one of the Cambrian Way. So today I'm doing about 16 miles. This is quite an easy stage. I'm following the Rua Taff out of Cardiff, then I'm heading up to Castle Coch. Then I'll be walking through some forest for a few miles, and then I'll be heading down to a small village called Machen, where I'll be buying some food for tomorrow. And then just on the other side of Machen I'll be looking for a camping spot for tonight. So the creation of the Cambrian Way started back in the late 1960s. There was a chap called Tony Drake, and he was quite a keen hill walker, and he was involved with the creation of several footpaths in this region. He helped with the design of the Offa's Dyke path and the Cotswold Way, and he thought, wouldn't it be a really good idea if there was a long distance hiking trail going right across Wales, going over all the mountain ranges. So the Cambrian Way is basically a mountain walk across Wales. So it can be a little bit challenging, but anyone of average fitness can do it. But it is a good idea to allow a lot of time for some of the sections, because there's a lot of scrambling involved on some parts. So you have to use your hands to clamber up and down the sides of mountains. Just arrived at Castle Coch, and this is a very pretty little chateau. I think they're doing renovations on it at the moment. There's been fortifications here ever since 1081, when the Normans put a small castle on top of the hill. And this was built in the 19th century. There was a very rich local landowner, the 3rd Marquess of Bute, and he had this put up here. Very scenic, and some nice views overlooking the countryside. Very lucky with the weather today. I think tomorrow or the day after is the first day of spring, and it's very spring-like at the moment. The tent I've brought with me, I was going to bring a four-season tent. I was going to bring a Terra Nova Laser Compact AS, and I actually did a review of it a few weeks ago. I went on to Dartmoor for a little hike and took the Terra Nova. It's a great tent, but is 1.73 kilogram, and because the weather for the next few days is going to be quite nice, I thought I'd bring a much lighter tent and see how I get on with that. So I bought my Z-Pax Plex Solo, which is an ultra lightweight tent. I think it's just under 400 grams, and if I do decide to do a kit swap, there's on the southern section of the Cambrian Way there are a couple of train stations, so if I need to swap anything over for the rest of the hike, it's no problem. Just going home to change it around. Starting to get some nice views now. I think that's Capel-y over in the distance, just over to the west. I think I'm approaching a high point. I think from there you can get some really good views of the Bristol Channel. So I'm just going to have a little break when I get there. So that's looking westwards. And that's the direction I'll be heading in this afternoon. And I can just make out the Bristol Channel over in the distance, and Cardiff just over on the horizon. So just going to have a little break and then continue. Just approaching Machen, and just on the other side of the village I can see the hill where I'm going up tomorrow morning. Just to the left of where that quarry is, where the forest is. I'm hoping to find a camping spot there tonight, and if I can I'll just have to come back here because I've camped in this wood before, and this is a very good wood for camping in, so I've still got plenty of time before sunset to find a camping spot. Just arrived in Machen. There's a couple of shops here, so I can get some food for tonight, and then going to head back up into the hills. So I've been trying to follow a footpath on the map, which unfortunately doesn't exist. So I've just been wandering around in that field, and I had to climb over this barbed wire fence, but I'm back in the public access forest now, and the Cambrian Way is about 100 metres or so up the hill, so in the morning I've got to sort of try and go up there. But I found a really nice spot. I've got internet access here, it's quite quiet, and there's a stream just over there as well, and quite a nice view as well. So a good spot to spend the night. So just going to settle down now, and then tomorrow I'm heading to Pontypool, and then I'll be camping on the other side of the town. So until tomorrow morning, good night. Nice clear morning to start the day. So at the moment I'm heading up to my first high point of the day. I think it's Mynydd, Machen. So I'm just going to go up there and have a little break when I get there. Just arrived at the top of Mynydd, Machen. Some nice views looking south towards Cardiff again. So now I'm heading down to another valley, and from there I'm heading up to, there's another high point. I think it's called Twin Balm. Or anyone from Wales watching these videos, very sorry for my pronunciation of these names. So I'm heading down into a valley, then up to the next high point, which is what I remember. It's quite a steep climb, but after that I'm just following a ridge all the way towards Pontypool, so that's quite a nice part of the walk. Just heading down into the valley, and then I think the next hill I'm going up is just over there. That's a bit of a steep climb. This is the steepest climb I'll be doing today. There's a bit of a climb coming out of Pontypool, but that's not too difficult. Just going to have a little break and then admire the scenery. There used to be an Iron Age hill fort up here, and you can still see where the concentric embankment and ditch goes around. And there's a large mound here. Just going to, I guess this must have been something to do with the Iron Age hill fort. Just going to have a look at the view from the top. So this is the view to the south. This is looking back towards Cardiff. Looking westwards. This is the rest of the route I'll be taking today. There's a footpath following a ridge that goes all the way to Pontypool, so that'll be a nice walk today if this weather stays like this. Just heading down into Pontypool. So my plan for this afternoon, I'm going to get some food in the town, and then on the other side of the town there's a old tower called the Folly on the Cambrian way, and so I'm going to head up to there, and about a mile after that I'll be going on to public access land, so I'll be looking for a camping spot around there tonight. Tesco, that's a welcome sight. So I'm just going to stock up with pot noodles and then I'll be on my way again. So got all my food for tonight, and tomorrow I'm just heading up to the Folly. Just arrived at the Folly. This isn't the original tower. The original building was constructed back in the late 1700s. There was a rich landowner called John Hanbury, and he decided to have this built here, but unfortunately they had to demolish it during World War II because the German bombers were using it as a landmark. But this one, they reconstructed it as close to the original as they could back in the 1990s. and some really nice views again from up here. So that's looking, I think that's south again. That's the way I just came. So heading in that general direction, I think, over the next few days. Yeah, I can make a plaque out on the wall saying this was opened on the 22nd of July 1994 by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. So I think from here it's about a couple of miles now, and then I'll be looking for a camping spot. Just arrived at Mynydd, Garn-wen. More nice sweeping views from up here. When I was here last year, I vaguely remember just about couple of hundred meters up from here, there was a spot. It looks a really nice wild camping spot. So I'm just going to head up to there now and maybe camp there tonight. Actually, it was a little bit more than a couple hundred meters, but there's a nice area here for camping with some really amazing views overlooking the countryside. Well, I put my tent down in the shelter just in case it gets a little bit windy during the night. So yeah, going to settle down now, just listen to the radio as usual, and then tomorrow I'm heading to Abergavenny, and then on the other side of Abergavenny there's a hill called Loaf. So I'm hoping to find a camping spot on there tomorrow, and I hope the weather stays like this. So until tomorrow morning, good night. I think I ought to mention with this area around here, there's a lot of motorcycle tyre tracks. So obviously the locals like to come up here with off-road motorcycles. So when camping here is worth bearing in mind. You might get a bunch of bikers turning up in the middle of the night for a bit of off-road scrambling. So today it's really easy walk. I've got about 12 miles. I'm heading, it's a gradual uphill walk up to a high point called Orange, and then from there it's quite a steep descent down into Abergavenny, and then on the other side of the town there's a big hill called Loaf, and I hope to be finding a camping spot there this afternoon. Just having a break near these big radio masts, and then I'm continuing up to Orange. It's only about a mile or so up to the top. I think it's going to be another nice sunny day again today. Nice sweeping views again. That's looking to the south, where I've just came out this morning. It's about a couple hundred more metres, and then I can get some nice views of Abergavenny towards the north. So that's Abergavenny just down there. I think Loaf is just over there, so that's where I'll be heading to this afternoon. I think from here down to the town there's a direct path which is very steep. And there's also a path just over to the right, which is a bit more zigzaggy. So that'll be the path I think I'll be taking. Slight change of plan. I've just noticed that the weather forecast for tonight, it's going to be -3. And it was freezing last night and all my water bottles got frozen up. And I don't really have a winter sleeping bag. I've just got a lightweight one, so it's got a bit chilly. So I decided tonight I'm just going to stay in a hotel in Abergavenny. Then tomorrow I'm heading to Capel-y-Ffin. And there's a campsite there, so I'll be staying there tomorrow night. And then the next day I'll be heading to Coch. Just arrived in Abergavenny, so I'm just going to check into my nice warm hotel now, and then tomorrow morning I'll be heading up to Loaf. So until then, good night. Today I'm doing about a 14-mile walk to the Grange Trekking Centre campsite. Just on my way up to Loaf, where I hope to get some really nice views this morning. Just arrived at the top of Loaf. And some really amazing views from here. I guess I could have camped up here last night, but I'm quite glad I stayed in the hotel last night. It would have been absolutely freezing up here last night. So that's the direction I'm heading to this afternoon, I think. And these are the views looking back south again. Right, just going to have a little break and then continue onwards to the next high point. Just arrived at Garn-wen. It's really nice views from up here again. Just on the other side of the river. I think that ridge, that's where the Offa's Dyke path goes along. I think that's the stretch which goes to Hay-on-Wye. So from here I'm just following a ridge up to another couple high points, and then I'll be dropping down into the valley, into the campsite. Phew, almost at the top of the ridge, so I've got one more high point, and then it's all downhill into the valley. So about another 4 miles from here now. I'm just heading up to my last high point of the day. I think it's Capel-y-Ffin, but I'll put the name at the bottom of this screen. I think it's a quarry on the hill, or something like that in English. So just gonna stop up here for a little break and then head down into the valley. So I can see where I'm going tomorrow. I'm heading down into that valley, and then I can see Twimper. That's the next high point I'm going to. That's just on the other side of the valley, just over in the distance. So that'll be my first high point for tomorrow. But no, it's just an easy walk down into the village. I'll say the village is there's only about 2 or 3 houses at Capel-y-Ffin. Very tiny place. So I'll be there in about an hour or so. Just approaching the campsite. In the morning I've got a choice of a couple of routes to get up to Twimper. So the official Cambrian Way route, it goes up that hill, then it just follows the ridge to Twimper. Or another way is going up through that little valley just to the left. And I remember last year that's a really steep climb in the morning, so I might, if I'm feeling lazy, I just might take the easier route up through the valley. I think that's quite a scenic route as well anyway, so I may go that way tomorrow. Just arrived at the Grange Trekking Centre campsite at Capel-y-Ffin. It's nice and quiet at this time of year, so I've got the campsite to myself. And there's internet here as well, so I'll be able to watch YouTube tonight. I'm just watching this video about the turnover laser compact.
I'm too used to the
so I'm just going to settle down now, and then tomorrow morning I'll be heading up to Twimper. I think I've got quite a lot of footage on the camera now, so I'm going to stop this video now and then start another one tomorrow morning. So thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope to upload another one soon. Bye.